Hey home bakers, it's time for a Halloween special and I haven't got a costume. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm a scary ghost. That was the worst ghost impression I've ever heard. Roll that theme tune. Hello to you and welcome back to the Bake with Jack YouTube channel where I make videos to help you make bread. And today I'm going to take a straight up enriched bread dough, a packet of raspberries and some icing sugar, and with that all important power of play, create some lovely, tasty brain buns. Gross. Cut to the table. And here we are at the table where in front of me I have a large mixing bowl with my dry ingredients weighed in already: flour, sugar and salt. The full recipe for this is on the Bake with Jack blog. You'll find it, there's a link in the description box underneath. For this recipe we are using milk which I have warmed to somewhere between 25 to 30 degrees C, which is 76 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Add it to a bowl with a medium egg, your yeast and whisk together. You don't have to do this bit, but I like it. Now add your dry ingredients to the wet ingredients and use your dough scraper, available to purchase from bakewithjack.co.uk/shop. That's the large size, by the way, and mix it together until it comes together into a rough dough before you add your soft butter. Then dimple the butter in with your fingers. Give it another mix with your scraper, doing your best to cut in that butter before you turn the dough out onto the table. I'm very conscious that I have flour all over my face. Now you're going to knead it for 10 minutes with zero flour. And yes, it's going to be sticky at first, a little bit slippery thanks to those chunks of butter, and it will make a mess on the table. But do not dust it with flour at this point. It is a massive error and the biggest mistake you will ever make when you're making any kind of bread. Instead, use the flat side of your brand new Bake with Jack dough scraper that has just arrived in the post to loosen the dough from the table and clean up every once in a while along the way, scraping your scraper with your dough scraper to make sure you don't waste any butter. Work your dough nicely, gently at a pace you're comfortable with all the way to the end of 10 minutes. Don't stop at 6 or 7 or 8 minutes. Go all the way till the end. This is to ensure that you've worked your dough nicely. It's really, really strong. It'll puff up really nice because the more puff you can get into your dough, the more strength it needs to make that puff and the softer your buns will be at the end. When your dough is ready, smooth and wonderfully satisfying, ball it up. Cover the bowl with another upturned bowl or a plate while it puffs up, just to stop it from drying out. I popped mine in the fridge overnight for maximum flavour and lightness the next day, but if you want to make these the same day, just leave it on the kitchen side for 1.5 to 2 hours. After this first rest, your dough will be light and puffy. The curved edge of your new scraper is designed to fit perfectly in the side of your bowl, and the flexibility will allow you to turn the dough out onto a very lightly dusted table, sticky side up. Has this scraper thing gone too far yet? You're making 8 buns with this. So first, cut and divide 8 pieces at 50 grams each. And as you do, try to keep the pieces sticky side up all the way, and this will help you later on. The remaining piece of dough we'll be using for those kind of wormy parts of the brain on the outside, so set it to the side underneath a bowl so it doesn't dry out while you're doing the rest. With each 50 gram piece, pinch the edges and fold them in all the way around the edge, folding that sticky part inside. Then turn it over and use a clawed hand to roll it into a nice tight ball. Line them back up on the table nicely. Next, I'm going to turn those balls into a kind of oval brain shape by taking a ball, turning it over, pressing it flat slightly and folding, kind of a bit more like rolling in half. Place it on a parchment lined tray. Do them all at this stage. Spread them out nicely across 2 trays with maximum space to puff, and then egg wash them all lightly all over with a brush. This will help those wormy bits to stick. And if you are egg washing and you leave the egg wash for a while, it'll go sticky and kind of tacky. So when you put those bits on, they're less likely to slide off and they will stick fast like glue. With the edge of your multi-purpose dough scraper available in a pack of 3 large or 4 small, mark a little line on the top for the middle of your brain. Now this next part is going to take some time. So get everybody involved, get the kids around the table because that will make it faster and it's fun. Cut off some slices of dough from that whole part left over and keep the rest covered up so it doesn't dry out. Roll these slices with your palms as thinly as you can. Use some dust if things start to get sticky, and don't worry if they break along the way. Now stick these dough worms to the rolls that you made earlier, doing your best to curl it around in the classic way that a brain looks on the outside. I feel like the trick here to make it look as genuine as possible is to make that middle brain line look quite defined. You will get movement as they do puff up and lose a little bit of definition, but carry on placing your dough strings all the way over to cover the whole bun and make them as compact as they can, because when the bowl puffs up, they will spread out a little bit. Now cover up your buns ideally with something airtight. I use these big plastic boxes that I have here in the studio, but if you don't have anything big enough, anything like that, you can dust a couple of layers of cling film and lay them over loosely. If your initial rest on your dough was at room temperature, expect these to take around 1.5 to 2 hours to puff up. Or if you use dough out of the fridge like I did, where it's already fridge cold, probably take a little bit longer, possibly up to 3 hours, but keep your eyes peeled. When your buns are big and puffy, bake them in a preheated oven at 200 degrees C, that's mine, fan, or 392 degrees Fahrenheit with steam for 10 to 12 minutes. Oh no. Transfer them to a wire rack to cool slightly. Pop the paper underneath for later while you make your icing. For small enriched buns like these, the best way to see if it's done is to have a little peep underneath when they're in the oven. And when they're golden on the base, they're normally ready to go. Crush your raspberries in a large bowl really well and add the icing sugar. Mix it all together into a kind of thick icing. Test some on your finger, and if it drops off easily, add some more icing sugar to thicken things up a bit. The trick to good bun coverage here is to make enough icing to dunk your bun into the actual icing and then spoon it up the edges, pulling it out and letting it drip off, and just use a spoon or a fork or something just to tap off the excess back into the bowl. As you get to the final few, it'll be trickier because there'll be less and less icing in your bowl, but just do your best. Pop them back on the rack as you go, and the paper underneath will catch the drips, and that's it. Raspberry ice brain buns for your Halloween party. And if you want to take it to the next level, feel free to pipe something inside like you would do a donut, a nice custard or a cream or something, or just like I did here, I just sliced them open, piped in a touch of chantilly cream and a few more of those crushed up raspberries. Use your imagination and have a play. The first batch I did, I coated them with jam for a sticky kind of gruesome look, and I also added a little quite creepy looking spinal cord thing going on. I'm not sure if that worked quite well. And there you have it, happy Halloween. I'm really pleased how these brain buns came out in the end, and if you're going to make them too, post them out on Instagram using the hashtag #BakeWithJack, and then I can see what you're making. How cool is that? Thank you so much for stopping by for this year's Halloween special. Have a wonderful time, won't you? And I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye. Happy Halloween! There you go, something a little bit different this year, and I hope you enjoyed it. You can get the recipe on the Bake with Jack blog at bakewithjack.co.uk, and if you don't want to miss anything that I do, sign up for your Home Bakers Bulletin email and get all of my content from the week delivered to your inbox for free every single Thursday. See ya!